to another installment of the 94 podcast. We have so much to cover today. We got the NFL Week 15. We got the Heisman Trophy finalist. Also, the playoff picture to break down for the Minnesota Vikings. Big trade with the Minnesota Wild being able to acquire Quinn Hughes from the Vancouver Canucks, sending over Marco Rossi, Zeev Buium, Liam Ogren, and a 2026 first-round pick. Blockbuster deal there, and a huge victory for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But let's get into it. We got playoff matchups here with a playoff picture here that we're going to be taking a look at. We have the New England Patriots. We have the Denver Broncos. Currently, New England is number 2. We got Denver as the number 1 seed currently. You have Jacksonville as 3. Just huge playoff pictures that we're just uncovering as we go. Houston with a huge win against Kansas City. Kansas City's barely holding on to their playoff lives. I know CJ Stroud missed the high five with his owner at the Cal McNair, and yeah, great job by the Houston admin team. But yeah, playoffs are heating up. We got the Steelers. They had a huge win last week against Baltimore and Lamar Jackson, and in a must-win game this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers are looking at Dolphins on Monday night in a must-win game for the Dolphins to stay alive. Huge game against the Lions too in Week 16. And then Buffalo, what a huge win against Cincinnati last week. And Cincinnati's on life support as well because they are on the brink of elimination, and Joe Burrow is upset. Potentially, he could be coming to Minnesota, which would be just that would just be another realm of just like insanity of having Justin Jefferson and Joe Burrow on the same team. But again, that's another debate, another topic for another day. We'll continue here. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a team that has been hot recently. They got the Jets, they got the Broncos, they got the Colts, they got the Titans coming up. And the New York Jets have yet to intercept a opposing offense. So Duval is looking strong going into the playoff stretch here. And Los Angeles Chargers, that's a team that proved their grit, their toughness on Monday night, being able to pick off Jalen Hurts, and also on this crazy play where he gets the fumble on the same play. He throws an interception, then he fumbles on the same play, and then in overtime he threw that game-deciding interception, giving the Los Angeles Chargers a much-needed win there. Lamar Jackson, will he be able to will his way the Ravens back into the Super Bowl or the playoffs, because they were one of the Super Bowl favorites to start the season. Again, hot seat for his head coach and John Harbaugh. The Ravens haven't looked the part this year. The Indianapolis Colts, what a way. I mean, they lose Daniel Jones last week to the Achilles. Frustration for the Colts. They went out and then they got 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who's going to be starting in Seattle. What a tall task to go up against the number 1 defense in Seattle. That will definitely be a must-watch coming up this weekend to see how a 44-year-old is going to be able to fare against that defense and Mike McDonald. The Kansas City Chiefs getting smacked around lately. They got a very low chance here of making the playoffs. They're at 23%. They just don't look the part. They don't look the part this year. I probably count them out. And I know Mahomes just, I don't know what it is this year. They're not getting the protections. They're not getting the production that they need. Talking about this, the NFC side, we got the Seattle Seahawks here. They got the Colts, Rams, Panthers, and 49ers. They're just running away with a lot of the momentum, both on defense, special teams, and when Sam Darnold is on, that offense is lethal. One offense that has been questionable is the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have a lot of questions with Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They get the Raiders to get back healthy. The Commanders, a tough game at the Bills, but you get the Commanders. So I do see the Eagles staying in the playoff, is staying in the top half of the bracket, more likely winning the NFC East. You got the Packers, tough matchup against the Denver Broncos, who are coming in with a 10-game winning streak. Matt LaFleur leading the Packers on the road for at Broncos, at Bears in consecutive weeks. And then they have a finish with the Ravens and then at Vikings. So that's not going to be easy either. Those teams are going to be all scrappy. I know the Bears want another crack at the Packers. And then Bo Nix and Sean Payton, that's not going to be a cakewalk. Tampa Bay, one of the most disappointing teams here, losing to the Falcons, with Kirk Cousins. And Tampa Bay just clinging on to playoff life. But right now, as they currently sit, they're the 9th team in the standings, but they need to win out. They need some help this week with Carolina losing to New Orleans. We'll see if that happens. The Rams-Lions, huge game. Nonetheless, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford, the Rams defense going up against Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Dan Campbell. We'll see what happens there. The San Francisco 49ers here, one of those teams that has been surging and just staying in the hunt, currently in the 6th seed right now. And we expect them to stay in that wild card. I mean, they get the Titans, they get the Colts, so they get Philip Rivers if he survives this week. And then they get the Bears, Caleb Williams, and then they finish with Sam Darnold. Will the San Francisco 49ers be dancing into the playoffs? We'll see if they can continue winning. And the Detroit Lions, again, can they sneak into the playoffs? Right now, they're the 8th seed, so the first team out. The Bears hold the 7th seed, and Carolina holds the 4th seed. But they get the at Rams, Steelers, at Vikings on Christmas Day, and then at Bears. So it's crucial, all these games for the Lions to win out, and pray and hope that all the other teams that they're chasing lose, and one of them being the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, a huge game against the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk about Shadur Sanders a little bit later, going up against the Cleveland Browns. That's going to be one of the huge monumental games for the Bears left on the schedule. You got Carolina. Huge game for Carolina against New Orleans, a divisional battle. Let's see if Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard and Bryce Young can get going. Tutorial McMillan coming off the bye week. And then Dallas Cowboys face off against the Minnesota Vikings. We'll break that down too. Big matchup for the Cowboys. They got a 19% chance. As it sits right now, Dallas is on the outside looking in. A 10th seed at this point, at 6-6-1, and this is what we're looking at right now. Just one of the brackets here, but just insane in regards. Let's take a quick look. You got New England with Drake May, great story there. You got Sam Darnold on the NFC side. What a revival again, leaving Minnesota, but he has to figure out the Los Angeles Rams. And we talked about Philadelphia and their woes, but they get a chance to get healthy against the Raiders, the Commanders, and they have a favorable matchup. Like I really like where Philadelphia could land with the remaining games on their schedule. And with Green Bay has a tough road ahead. But again, Broncos on the road, and you get the Bears, and then you get Ravens, and then you finish with the Vikings at US Bank Stadium. Buccaneers, again, they're probably one of these teams that I feel like could get beat out by Carolina. And I think Carolina is playing better football at this stage. But yeah, like what a story in the NFL though. Before we move forward here, I don't know if Buffalo and New England, that game is getting overshadowed. I know with all the speculation, but that should be a great game. Some of the great matchups they're coming up in Week 15. Let's just take a look at what everybody's been talking about, and that is this man, Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers, last time he played was in 2020, COVID. So he's still making Zoom COVID jokes at the presser. And then they asked him, hey, what's your current weight? And I know that is a personal question for many, but as a professional athlete, he did handle it very smoothly. He said, I can guarantee you it's not the same weight that I had when I walked off the field in Buffalo. That was his last career game as an Indianapolis Colt in an NFL uniform back in 2020 when they got eliminated in the wild card round. So can Philip Rivers survive for the Indianapolis Colts? Because the Colts are just trying to stay relevant as one of the teams in the AFC playoff picture in the hunt right now. And it seemed almost like a month ago we were talking about this team potentially having an MVP candidate in Daniel Jones or Jonathan Taylor. The defense, and then also like that offense was prolific. Leading the league in so many categories. Just being able to be a quick strike offense. We'll see what Shane Steichen is able to draw up for Philip Rivers to make sure that he can stay upright and have a clean pocket. I think that's going to be a major thing because even with their rookie that they drafted out of Notre Dame, Riley Leonard, he's injured, dealing with, I believe, an ankle injury. Anthony Richardson got an orbital, so he's still on the IR. So that just lets you know, like right now, the NFL pipeline for quarterbacks is very, 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 very slim. There's not that many quarterbacks out there that franchises like the Indianapolis Colts are willing to trust, especially in the home stretch of the season, to go ahead and try to secure a playoff spot and also compete. And this will reset Philip Rivers' Hall of Fame candidacy for 5 years. So he will go reset for 5 years because he is now, breaking news, he will be starting after signing this week with the Indianapolis Colts. And I think that's just going to be one of those cool stories to see if he's able to survive the rest of the season. And again, for Colts fans, T.Y. Hilton's not walking through that door. You don't have Joseph Adai. You don't have Reggie Wayne out there. You got Michael Pittman. You got Josh Downs. You got Alex Pierce. You still got Tyler Warren, which is a nice piece moving forward for the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor, of course, still in the backfield. We'll see. We'll see how the Colts are able to fare against the number one defense in Seattle. Switching gears here, let's focus on the Minnesota Timberwolves real quick. I just want to give a quick shout out to this huge win by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert had a huge monster game. That was a nice dunk there. But great game without Anthony Edwards, going on the road, securing a victory in the clutch moments against the Golden State Warriors. and without their star. No Anthony Edwards in this game. But Anthony Edwards still was part of the headlines with Steph Curry donning his signature shoes, the AE2s. And recently, Steph Curry has become a free agent in the shoe game, the shoe market. So that'll be interesting to see if that leads to something or any kind of business deal for Steph Curry potentially joining Adidas in the future. But yeah, Steph Curry just dangerous at any point. And the Timberwolves have grown, I feel, game by game, being able to win with complementary basketball. As we can see here, Julius Randle being able to drive it, dish it, and Rudy with the follow. So this is the kind of play that we love to see without your stars playing, being able to step up. The efficiency of Rudy Gobert with 22 points, 10 of 12 on field goals. Just an impressive road victory against one of the stars in the league, in the faces of the league, and Steph Curry. Against Jimmy Butler. I know that Minnesota Timberwolves fans enjoyed this victory. You had to stay up late for this one, but being able to beat the Golden State Warriors, this is a playoff ready roster for the Golden State Warriors, and knowing that you had to take them out in the second round last season without Steph Curry. Steph Curry was injured in game one. The rest of the way, he did not return to the series. And what a way for the Minnesota Timberwolves to continue to build confidence in the first quarter of the season, winning this game, going away. I know that in the clutch moments here, we just fast forward here for the last minute here. We got Naz Reid hitting some clutch free throws here. You missed that one, and right here, this is where you gotta lock them down, and I think this is going to be a test for the Minnesota Timberwolves the rest of the season, is seeing if they're able to play clutch defense, because that's what got OKC a championship. Rudy Gobert, love to see that, being able to fight and skive for that rebound. And huge game also by Donte DiVincenzo, being able to close this game out. Look at this, 3. Boom. All right. Donte, the big Ragu, 19 points. He was 4 for 10, 40% from downtown. And then this was the Warriors' last chance here to get back into it. And we got nothing. Nice close, a nice defensive stop there. Great win by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Love to see that. That's what we need to see from the Timberwolves. Being able to, I know this sounds routine, but there's been so many games where it's gone down to the wire and they've given up points. They've lost games where, they've let teams go on a run. I know that the Timberwolves went on a 17-0 run to close this game out, and take control of this game in the fourth quarter. But this is nice to see the Minnesota Timberwolves actually close a game out, because there's too many times early this year they've been on the wrong side of these fourth quarter finishes. You just gotta watch out. You never know. Curry is always in range. All right, and then that ends at 127 to 120. The win by a touchdown going away. Anthony Edwards, want to see him get back healthy, but early on, and then now we can flip it back to another topic here with J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy in his game last week against the Washington Commanders, Vikings won 31-0, as you know, being, I think the first team since the 1992 Broncos from being shut out 26-0 in week week 13 against the Seattle Seahawks, come back week 14 and then shut out their opponent, the Washington Commanders. J.J. McCarthy, though, he was able to bounce back after missing the game in Seattle with a 3-touchdown performance and 0 interceptions. That's the one thing that I definitely want to highlight there. I know we've had conversations here on the 94 podcast is, he's overrated, but yeah, he's a young kid. He's a young kid. I know he still has to prove himself. He has to prove a lot of the naysayers wrong, but this is the first step that we needed to see as the Vikings are evaluating him. The rest of the season, that's what it is. It's all about evaluating the quarterback position the rest of the way. I know the Vikings have a very uphill playoff picture. The Vikings need this week, just to stay alive, they need the Browns to beat the Bears. That gives them a 2% chance. The Rams to beat the Lions. And that would give them a 3% chance increase on their current season. And what we want to also highlight here is they're young quarterbacks. They're young quarterbacks, and what we need in Week 16 for the Vikings is Packers to beat the Bears. That would increase the Vikings' playoff hopes to 6%. Steelers, so we need Adam Thielen, old friend of the Minnesota Vikings and now new Pittsburgh Steelers, to do them a solid to beat the Detroit Lions in Week 16 to keep the playoff hopes alive. That would get the playoff balloon up to 19%. Week 17, that would take a performance. Week 17 would need the Commanders, the same Commanders that the Vikings beat last Sunday, to beat the Cowboys, who are the opponent this Sunday. That would increase the Vikings' chances to 24%. The Seahawks would need to beat the Panthers. So this is doable. This is not out of the realm. All of these games, not out of the realm. Seahawks to beat the Panthers, that would increase the Vikings' chance to 25%. So you give me a quarter of a chance to get in. This is the shift of the tide here. The 49ers beat the Bears. That would raise the Vikings' playoff hopes by the end of Week 17 to a 49% clip. And Week 18 would be the Lions versus Bears. Vikings would need the Lions to beat the Bears. That would essentially have all the teams' records be 9-8, with the Vikings winning out the rest of their games. And the Vikings would make the playoffs due to conference and also division record. And also, again, things can get a little bit more, it's clear as mud right now, but things can get muddied if the NFC South runner-up has a better record than the Minnesota Vikings. So that's something that we get to watch. But again, it's all about evaluating J.J. McCarthy the rest of the way. But again, you still got a chance. All right. This is what we were talking about earlier. Quinn Hughes with the Minnesota Wild. Huge trade for the Minnesota Wild, sending Marco Rossi, Ziv Bulliam, and Liam Organ in the 2026 first round draft pick over to the Vancouver Canucks. You get a goal scorer with Quinn Hughes. I know Kirill Kaprizov is excited. You get Boldy. You get all these players in their prime right now, and you get to play fast hockey. So shout out to Billy Guerin, the Minnesota Wild GM, on pulling the trigger and being able to get this star, Quinn Hughes, away from the Detroit Red Wings, the New Jersey Devils, and the Philadelphia Flyers, who were rumored to be in the sweepstakes for Quinn Hughes. So I know we're getting hockey, we're getting NFL, we're getting a little bit of everything here on the 94 podcast. We're just kind of giving you guys a little bit of a medley of sports. And I also want to talk about Shedeur Sanders because I know he is a hot button, hot button player in everything that he does. I know that he did have a huge showing last week against the Tennessee Titans. Um, yeah, the Tennessee Titans going up against the number one draft pick and Cam Ward. Um, Let me pull this up here for you. But yeah, what a game that was. What a game that was. We'll just pull this up here. All right. Yep. So what a game by Shedeur Sanders. 4 touchdowns, over 400 yards. He definitely proved, again, everybody that wrote him off, saying that, he was not going to be a really good player in the league, but he's still making plays. He's an exciting watch. And this week against the Chicago Bears, the Bears don't have it easy. And I know the Bears are reeling after just a tough loss against the Green Bay Packers. And they get to go up against a tough Cleveland Browns defense. And now in an explosive offense with Shedeur Sanders leading the way the rest of the season. You got David Njoku making a nice catch there for Shedeur Sanders. And as you can see, they're getting a little bit of the play action. They're getting first, second, and third level throws that Shedeur is able to complete, and we're seeing a little bit more protection and just getting the ball out a little bit faster. That's one thing I know that was a knock on Shedeur at the beginning of his career was he was holding on to the ball, trying to be a hero on every play. There he goes. Being able to use his legs and be able to slide, and make the drives stay alive, and especially in a situation like this where you can let your playmakers outrun the defense, and there you go. Now you get some fun in the snow. Jerry Jeudy. I know they were arguing just last week, but look at this play here. This is a nice ISO here, being able to turn him outside on the inside, running up the seam and just running into the end zone with a backflip. They almost hit him with the snowball there. But yeah, what a way though for Shedeur Sanders to continue to find his playmakers. I think that's one thing that has just made the Browns. He's injected life into this Browns offense, and we've seen the Browns with Dylan Gabriel this year, Joe Flacco, and now Shedeur Sanders. And yeah, we're just seeing that he's not giving up. He's not giving up, and he's using his legs. And again, this is that was a cool moment there where he gets to celebrate in front of the home crowd. And I think his brother was also, I think there's a frame picture there of him celebrating. And that was just cool because Deion Sanders was also at the game. What a catch. That was a mossed him right there. Harold Fannin Jr. one-on-one over the corner. No chance there. Yeah, just overall, just a great player, that is developing into what he needs to become for Cleveland. So we'll see if Kevin Stefanski, hopefully leaves him in, for the rest of the game against the Chicago Bears, especially if it's a 2-point conversion. I don't know, there was controversy there, but great job by Shadur Sanders being able to withstand the storm. The media is kind of just throwing at him. But yeah, I'm really impressed so far just by his rookie season. And again, he could be a player similar to I've seen similar comparisons to like a Jameson Winston. And as you can kind of take a look here, in that game against Tennessee, I know Cam Ward. Also, like, I mean, let's also talk about Cam Ward, who's selected number 1 overall. I know Shadur Sanders was picked 144, I believe. But yeah, just watching both these young quarterbacks go at it, I think it's really cool. And you get to realize, what they're accomplishing, out there. You're seeing these young quarterbacks be able to make these reads, quick throws, and you're giving them the opportunity to develop into what they can become. And that's all I'm looking for a young quarterback, is just, that you're not going to have the best record. You're more likely you're going to be drafting high in 2026 NFL draft. But you just got to give your quarterback that room to grow. And I think that's what we're seeing with both Shadur and Cam Ward. And this was one of those games where I feel like it was just kind of underrated going into the season. You see that you get a little bit more of razzle dazzle there. They're doing the Shadur Sanders perfect timing, kind of back and forth. What a run here by Tony Pollard. Yeah, but with what we're seeing here so far with the Tennessee Titans, I know the Titans did go on to win this game, so they did officially eliminate. I think the Browns were not thinking playoffs at this point, but they eliminated any hopes that the Browns were going to climb back into the playoff picture. I know the Cincinnati Bengals are sitting at 4-9 as one of the last standing teams with that low of a record to get into the playoffs. But look at Mike McDaniels with the Miami Dolphins, got him up to 6-7. Miami's fighting with Pittsburgh on Monday night with T.J. Watt being out. So the Miami Dolphins could be one of those teams where they can get to 7-7 this week with a victory. And then that could entail, just a crazy AFC playoff picture because Kansas City is free falling. You got Baltimore, where we don't know what team is going to show up for Baltimore. Oh, yeah, this is the run by Tony Pollard. Can he go all the way? Yes. Tony Pollard, that must just feel nice, after just a long season. You're going 111, but then you're getting to have fun out in the snow. 65-yard run. Wow. What a display of speed there by Tony Pollard. Just wow, that's just grace. So, like, look at that. You're not catching them. You're not catching them. Denzel Ward got him backpedaling. It goes for the tackle. Not good enough. All right. What a game, though. What a game that was. And Quinshon Judkins. All right. Let's let's talk about you got me talking about college with Ohio State. Um, we got Ohio State, we got Indiana, we got Vanderbilt, and we got Notre Dame represented in the Heisman finalist. And they were officially revealed earlier this week. I believe it was on Monday Night Countdown. We're just pulling up the video here. All right. So yeah, Monday night they revealed the Heisman hopefuls. This is going to be key on who do we think deserves the Heisman at this point, at this juncture. The championship games have been played. Jeremiah Love for Notre Dame. They will not be playing in any bowl game since they did not qualify for the college football playoff. Controversy there with Notre Dame saying that they will not play in any playoff this season. And Jeremiah Love more likely will be a returning star for Notre Dame. So this will be not the last time we'll see Jeremiah Love in a Notre Dame. And Fernando Mendoza, Indiana quarterback. Jeremiah Love will be returning for the Fighting Irish. Now moving forward to Indiana, we get Fernando Mendoza. What a Heisman moment that was against Penn State. Clutch. That was just pure clutch. Diego Pavia, the fan favorite in Nashville. Just a lot of flair with Diego Pavia leading the Vanderbilt Commodores. There's not so many times that you're talking about Vanderbilt being one of those up and coming programs, but that's who they are. They were able to flip a commit from Georgia, Greg Curtis, to Vanderbilt. Julian Sayin with Ohio State. Buckeyes, they won the game against Michigan, and I know that Sharon Moore has made highlights outside of this game, and again, just a sad story out of Michigan. But huge games coming up for their rivals in Ohio State. And Julian Sayin, I know that there was a huge buzz around Diego Pavia, Fernando Mendoza. Even Jeremiah Love was getting some love. But Julian Sayin had like maybe one person at his presser during the Heisman press conference. So if Ohio State goes on and they get to the college football playoff, they might have created a monster with Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith. That was a crushing blow, I'm sure, for Ohio State fans with that missed field goal, fielding, going and missing that kick. It was wide left, but just a tough circumstance for Ohio State. But again, they stay in the top 4 of the college football playoff. But this week, it's all about the Heisman. I think it's between Diego Pavia and Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza won the Davey O'Brien. Diego Pavia won the Johnny Unitas. So the Heisman Trophy Trust is not showing their cards. But if I had to pick one of the two, I would have to lean Fernando Mendoza is going to win the first Heisman for Indiana University. And he's already gone out and said that he's going to keep the Heisman in Bloomington, Indiana. Fernando, the university gets their own Heisman, so I hope you take advantage of that and be able to at least keep your own Heisman, your own copy of the Heisman. But yeah, that's my pick, Fernando Mendoza. What a great season by all 4 of these candidates. And just looking back at Jeremiah Love, if it wasn't for losing to Miami, and just dropping the first 2 games, you're going down 0-2. I think Notre Dame would have been in the college football playoff, but again, you got to win your games. Got to win your damn games. But Fernando Mendoza, I think he's going to be the eventual champion of, look at this, the Big Ten championship game. Clutch. But again, this is the Heisman moment against Penn State. I think that's when it really was his season. And Diego Pavia, he'll be the runner up. But again, they're all going to get drafted. And I know he said that he wants to go to the Las Vegas Raiders. That would definitely be a good fit for him. I feel like he definitely fits that personality of the flair of Las Vegas. Julian Sayin, out of California, just a great season though for him as his first full season as Ohio State's QB1. But again, you're at wide receiver you get Jeremiah Smith, literally a cheat code, an NFL wide receiver in the college game. So yeah, with the Heisman Trophy finalist wrapping up, yeah, make sure to catch all the action later this evening. This is going to be exciting. I'm definitely going to be staying, tuned. But yeah, this is definitely going to be one of the cool things to check out. I know Army and Navy, that's going to be the only college game that's going to be going on, I believe, in the D1. I know they got FCS, but just what a way to get primed for the college football playoff, which is coming up in only a week. Only a week we get the college football playoff. But yeah, we get a huge, huge opportunity to just take a moment and enjoy the regular season before we jump into the college football playoff bracket. And before we do bid you adieu, I think right now we got coming up on this coming Friday, we got Alabama, Oklahoma, and also the other games that we got on the bracket. Got Alabama, Oklahoma. That'll be in Norman, and the games that are going to be on that Saturday is going to be Oregon and James Madison. Dukes, so it'll be the Ducks versus the Dukes. It'll be the Crimson Tide visiting the Oklahoma Sooners, an all SEC matchup there. So Sun Belt versus Big Ten. And then you have Tulane going on the road to Ole Miss without no Lane Kiffin on the sidelines there. I believe Charlie Weiss Jr. will be coaching for the Ole Miss Rebels. And then the number 7-10 matchup is going to be an SEC ACC matchup with the Miami Hurricanes visiting College Station in Texas A&M. That will be the early kickoff on Saturday, and leading into Ole Miss Tulane and Alabama Oklahoma, and the nightcap. Alabama Oklahoma will be the lone Friday game, and then it will be Oregon and James Madison as the night game for next Saturday. Winner of all these games, Miami, Texas A&M, they would get Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith, and the Ohio State Buckeyes as the number 2 seed. Winner of the Ole Miss Tulane game, they would get the Kirby Smart-led Georgia Bulldogs and Gunnar Stockton. And just a onslaught by that defense, C.J. Allen and the Georgia Bulldogs, just being able to just tear apart any hopes for Alabama winning the SEC championship. So, shout out to the Dogs, go Dogs, winning the SEC championship. Huge win for that program, winning their first SEC championship game against the Alabama Crimson Tide. So that they will be playing the winner of Tulane versus Tulane Ole Miss will be playing against Georgia. Indiana will be the number 1 seed. They will be playing the winner of Alabama versus Oklahoma, and Texas Tech will be playing the winner of Oregon and James Madison. And from then, that'll be the Capital One Orange Bowl. That'll be where Texas Tech will be playing. And then Indiana will be at the Rose Bowl. And then Georgia will be at the All-State Sugar Bowl. And Ohio State will be at the Cotton Bowl, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. So that leaves the Chick-fil-A Bowl as a Final Four, and then also the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, and then you get the national championship in Miami, January 19th. So stay tuned. A lot of exciting things coming up. But one thing I definitely want to leave with is some predictions here. We got Bears and Browns. I'm predicting this one to be an upset. I got the Browns winning this game 24-22. 24-22. Close game. Keeps the Vikings' hopes alive. Rams beat the Lions. That's my prediction. I think this one is going to be a high-scoring affair. Rams get 34. Lions 28. So I think it's going to be a close game. Rams close it out with a defensive stop against Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell. And the Packers Broncos, I'm going Broncos beating the Packers. I know they're a 2-point favorite, so I think the Broncos are going to come in a little bit more ready. I feel like they're going to be ready because I think the fan base going up against Matt LaFleur, and I just feel that this game is going to be a huge measuring stick for the Denver Broncos on whether they're able to, really play the part as a top team. And these two teams did play last. I think these two teams played two tough games last week. I know it was a divisional matchup for Denver. They were in Las Vegas, but they stayed healthy, keeping that winning streak alive. But Bo Nix, I feel, knowing that New England is going up against Buffalo, this is a gotta have it game, and knowing that your defense needs to shut down Jordan Love. It doesn't matter if it's Toyotathon, whatever month it is. This Denver Broncos defense is hitting on all cylinders and just creating havoc at the up front. And also the Green Bay Packers defense is really doing their part, keeping teams to 19 points per game and really getting after the quarterback. They made Caleb Williams uncomfortable all afternoon long, and even on the game-sealing interception where you see Caleb Williams had DJ Moore he was going to be open, but he let the ball go, and that was intercepted there by Hickson. So again, this is going to be a game within a game here, with Bo Nix being able to stay in front of the chains, get that running game going with RJ Harvey. Also the play action, I think that's going to be a huge friend for the Denver Broncos, being able to keep Micah Parsons off your quarterback, and also just converting and keeping the defense on the field. I feel like this is going to be a time of possession game, which I think Denver can do a really good job of keeping the ball away from Jordan Love and keeping the Packers defense on the field. I think if the Packers are able to run the ball effectively, we'll see if Josh Jacobs suits up. But if the Packers are able to get after Bo Nix like they were able to get after Caleb Williams, this could be a very long afternoon for Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. We'll see how Cortland Sutton is able to fare against the Packers secondary. Packers have been able to limit a lot of big plays. We've seen, running backs be able to get at least some traction. So we'll see if they're able to, keep RJ Harvey bottled up. Because I know that's what the Bears were trying to do in the second half, and they were able to, get 4.3 yards per carry, and you're able to at least gash them a little bit more. And yeah, Jordan Love, 3 touchdowns, great game against the Bears. Only 1 interception, a QBR rating of 120.7. So the Packers, this is a pick'em game. I'm going Broncos. It's going to be a tight affair, 27-24. I just feel like the Broncos at home and Mile High, I think that's going to be the difference. If it was in Lambeau, I would go pick the Packers. But since it is at Mile High, I'm going Broncos. And then that would, the Packers right now, they would be the number 2 seed right now, so they would drop them. And it all depends on what happens with the Bears, Browns, which I got the Bears getting upset by the Browns. I got the Rams being able to take care of the Lions. So this is a huge game for the Broncos to be able to take the Packers out of the running of the top NFC team, which leaves us with the Vikings and Cowboys. Oh, I know everybody wants to pick the Cowboys, and that's where I feel like this is a dangerous game. This is a dangerous game for the Cowboys. Dangerous game for the Cowboys for the reason that no one is expecting the Vikings to give them a game. I think this is going to be a lot closer game than people believe it will be. And I think that will be advantage Vikings. The Vikings, they're going in here with very little to lose. And guess what happened last week? You go into the game against the Commanders, your defense gets turnovers. You get on the plus side of the turnover battle. And Minnesota is playing Dallas where they're desperate to win. They got 4 games left. They got Chargers, Washington, and the Giants after the Vikings. So we know Brian Schottenheimer desperately is trying to get a win, especially after a loss where they were concerned that CeeDee Lamb might be lost for extended time. But Dak Prescott threw 376 yards, a touchdown, but 2 interceptions, interception to close the game out. But George Pickens was a vanishing act, and you need your number 2 to show up in big games. And Van Ginkel might gink Dak Prescott. Pass defense did a great job for the Vikings, only giving up 108 yards, 2 picks, a quarterback rating against of 24.3. Even Harrison Smith got into the action. Great job by the Vikings defense all around in goal line situations, being able to secure the 31 donut against the Washington Commanders. Vikings defense 3 of 10 on third down, 0 for 2 on red zone attempts for the offense. We obviously Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, they are a high octane offense. So they're scoring 24 plus points in 4 straight games. I'm expecting this to be a shootout. I'm putting the Cowboys. You just got to avoid Brandon Arbery at the end of the game. I got the Cowboys scoring 30 points, Vikings scoring 33 points. I think it's going to be just a seesaw battle. The Vikings just got to get Justin Jefferson back into the fold. I really like what I saw with J.J. McCarthy being able to run the ball with Aaron Jones, Jordan Madison, Jordan Addison, Jordan Mason, excuse me. Got those two names mixed up there. Jordan Addison, we need a little bit more. Just like George Pickens, you can't just go vanishing. We need a little bit more production from the number two. One guy to definitely watch out for the Dallas Cowboys, though, is Jake Ferguson, Javonte Williams. Again, a resurgence of his career in Dallas. He is more likely back with Dallas next season. But the Vikings rush defense, they did keep the Commanders out of the end zone, but they were able to gash them for 4.7 yards per carry. But the Vikings, yeah, you definitely saw that leg kick there with J.J. McCarthy. You definitely want to see if you can tighten that up. But again, you don't want to be analysis by paralysis. But a clean game by J.J. McCarthy, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 129.2 quarterback rating. And again, you love to see what they did in the red zone. 4 for 4 in the red zone, 6 for 11 on third down, equaling 31 points. That's what the Vikings offense, if they are going to be successful and win games, they need to be able to put up 30-plus points, especially with the talent that you have on roster. That's what you expect. And look for the Vikings to exploit what they saw on film. 44 points given up by the Dallas Cowboys defense. They were giving up conversions, red zone, touchdowns. They were getting sliced and diced. So I expect J.J. McCarthy to definitely get pressure by Quinn Williams and the front four of the Dallas Cowboys. But you got to attack their secondary, because their secondary can be beat, because Jared Goff went for 309 yards and a score against his pass defense. But I know a lot of the offense started with Jahmyr Gibbs, and I did see that early on that Thursday night, where they were getting him quick screens, getting him out in the open field, and the Vikings can do that. You got to do that with Justin Jefferson. I think it's key that you get Jefferson, targeted. You get him going early. Even Jordan Addison, get him targets, get him going early. This is the play that I'm talking about. You get him a swing route, and the rush defense just didn't know what to do with Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think that's the keys there. And even with David Montgomery, the RB2, he was getting into the action. So I think with Jordan Mason, this is definitely a game that Jordan Mason can definitely be a huge game breaker. I'm predicting Jordan Mason to get busy against the Dallas Cowboys. Aaron Jones, he is from Texas, so this will definitely mean a lot to him, and he always kills the Cowboys, so definitely lock him in to your fantasy lineups. Aaron Jones, I think, is due for a huge game. Speaking of fantasy, there's just going to be stars in entire lineup. Look out for Dallas Turner, though, for the Minnesota Vikings. He is one of the biggest stars, and I think he will definitely have a huge moment on Sunday Night Football. So definitely be on the lookout for Dallas Turner in Dallas to have one of the huge games. And if the Vikings win, I'm predicting he does get a game ball. But yeah, I will bid you adieu here on the 94 podcast. Until next time, I can't wait to, see all these predictions and who wins the Heisman and everything. And then again, we'll get Jim back here on the 94 podcast. I know he had some earlier responsibilities and commitments. So we'll keep watching, keep hoping, keep praying that the Vikings can do the miracle. I know there's been a Minneapolis Miracle, but there's a 1% chance of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going against that score. The Vikings win this week 33-30. Until next time, here on the 94 podcast, we'll see you at the TOP. And we're out.